Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to share some of the things I knitted in 2023, a kind of overview of what I knitted in 2023, and also some of the designs I had published in magazines in 2023, and kind of what my plans are for, or my goals are for 2024. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns, I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website yarnaddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. If you haven't watched my vlog from last week, which was the first video of 2023, 2024, this will be the second video of 2024. Welcome to 2024. Happy New Year. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I really appreciate you being here. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. If you like this video, as I said, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, I really appreciate if you would subscribe, because it helps me a lot to grow my channel, and I would like to really turbocharge my YouTube channel this year. I was very consistent in 2023 as far as YouTube is concerned. I went from posting a video once a week to once a week every other week, and 2 every other week, to 2 every week, to doing Vlogtober, where I posted 3 times a week, and Vlogmas, where I also posted 3 times a week. It's been a big year for my YouTube channel. In terms of revenue, and I don't like talking about that because I'm going to be totally transparent. In 2023 was the first year I actually made money from my YouTube channel, and I didn't start making money till like the spring, I don't think. But I made about just over £200 in total. I haven't done any sponsored videos yet, or any kind of paid sponsorship yet. Obviously sometimes people watch my videos, they might go and buy some of my patterns, take my online classes, all that kind of stuff, but that's difficult to track unless somebody specifically tells me that they are doing it or buying from me because of YouTube. But in terms of direct income from YouTube in 2023, that was just over 200, which is fine, because that's not the main reason I'm doing this. Although as I'm putting more and more effort into YouTube, I would like that to become more and more of an income stream, because I do feel like I'm putting more effort into it now, in planning my videos, recording them. I'd like to invest in better equipment. I like a new camera. So far I've been using my phone, which is fine. I'd like better editing equipment. I like to be able to put aside time to learn to use that editing equipment better, but that all takes money. I guess time isn't money, except it takes time away from doing other things that pay me money, if you know what I mean. So if you've been here all through 2023 or part of 2023, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's fantastic. Thank you. So let's get on with what we're going to talk about in this video. So I'm not going to show you everything I knitted in 2023, because that would be too boring. I'm going to show you some of the things that I've knitted. Now, I've kind of divided my knits into 2 separate parts. My personal knits and self-published knits, they kind of cross over a bit, and my magazine knits. Some of them are magazine knits. Some of the stuff I've knitted this year for magazine designs have not yet been published, so I can't show you those. Some of the stuff that has been published this year was actually knitted, not this year, some of the stuff that was published in 2023 was actually knitted in 2022. So I'll talk about that later, but let's start sort of personal knits first. And I was going to put this on, but I'm wearing a black top today, so I don't want to put this on and end up with pink fluff all over it. But my favorite personal knit this year is definitely my Irema Garn pink alpaca silk sweater. So if you've been watching me for a while, you probably will recognize the sweater. I wear it a lot. I don't have a ton of things I've knitted for myself, because I mainly knit stuff for magazines and I don't have time to knit a lot of stuff for myself. But I was determined this year I wanted to knit 4 things for myself, 4 garments. I've knitted 2, and I've got 2 on the needles at the moment. So although I got nowhere near my goal, I'm happy that I've knitted two, because the year before I ended up, well, I didn't actually knit one. One of the designs I designed for a magazine in 2022 was in my size. One of my sample knitters actually knitted it, but I can wear it because it's my size. These I've actually knitted myself. I will publish a pattern for these in 2024, I promise. I'm knitting this one again now in a different colour, which I cast on for when I was in Norway in December. So I'm kind of using that as like a test knit. It will be properly test knitted as well, but because when I first wrote the pattern, I was writing it as I was knitting the first one, but because I was knitting a lot of it on holiday, it was very sketchy notes. So I'm kind of going through my notes as I'm knitting this new one, just to see what I got wrong. And there was some stuff right at the beginning that I got wrong, so I'm glad I did that. But that was the second garment I knitted for myself. First one, I bought a couple of balls of this yarn in Norway. When did I go to Norway last year? I went in February. I bought it in February when I went to Norway. The yarn is knitting by Olive. No, knitting for Olive, and it's the silk. It's like a 4-ply, thin 4-ply yarn. It's a little bit darker than this in real life, I think. A bit more peachy, or like a blush pink, maybe. It's about the description of it. I've not worn this a ton. I probably should have worn it more than I have, but I haven't worn it a ton. I do really like it. I bought the yarn when I was in Norway last February to see my parents. I got 2 balls. Well, I didn't buy all of it. I bought 2 balls of it because I was in a yarn shop in Oslo and I saw this colour and I really liked it, but I didn't know what to knit with it. So I bought 2 balls because I thought that'll be enough for a shawl or something. And then when I got home, I was thinking maybe I want to do a sweater in this, because the yarn, even though it's a little bit more expensive, it's not too bad. Because the meterage is very good. So I worked out how much I need for a sweater, and when I went to London in April, I think it was, I went to Beautiful Knitters because I knew that they stocked this yarn, and I went to Beautiful Knitters and I picked up the rest of what I needed. I think maybe I had to order one more ball or something, but I can't remember. But I or did I order it online from them? Maybe I ordered it online. Anyway, I got it from Beautiful Knitters in London. This pattern will be written up soon. That's one of the things I need to get around to. I haven't worn this a lot. I must admit, this is Brett's silk Brett, which I wasn't sure what was. It's like apparently it's like the waste from silk production. It is bubbling a bit, so I'm not hugely impressed with how this is worn, considering the fact that I haven't really worn it that much. So I'm actually thinking about knitting this up in another yarn before I publish the pattern. But we'll see. But it's on my list to deal with in the next few weeks, hopefully this month. So those were the 2 garments I knitted for myself this year. I'm just going to lean back and grab something from a bag here. When I did my Instagram review, I put together some reels of some of the designs I've created this year, and then I actually forgot a few. So as I went through a list of this stuff to include in this video, I realized there was a few things I'd forgotten about. But I knitted this poncho called Mariposa. I knitted this when we were in Spain in May in Alicante. I knitted most of it there. I finished it when we got home. I counted this in my kind of Instagram review as a garment because it is a poncho, so it kind of is a garment. But this is knitted in Cyberball 100. You can also use the regular Cyberball. I think this size took 3, I think, and it has beads as well. But you can find the yarn and the beads on my website. And at the moment, until the 20th of January, I have 15% off my website. So anything on my website, yarn, beads, books, knitting notions, you can get 15% off until the 20th of January. I'll put the link and all the details below, including the code you need for that. So this pattern is available from Payhip and Ravelry, and it's called Mariposa. One thing I haven't knitted a lot of this year is lace, but I did do this little lacy scarf, which is knitted out of 1 skein of Models Uruguay Fina, which is the 4-ply pure merino. It feels very similar to the, is it merino silk? Hang on, let me grab a skein. It's merino and silk. I thought it was merino and silk. 70% merino wool, 30% silk. It's in the colour Fascinator, which is that colourway. Pop that back on the shelf, which is in my online shop, and you can get 15% off that at the moment. And you just need one to make this scarf. You can obviously use more and make it wider or longer. It is quite long actually. You could use 2 skeins and make it double the width. That'd be quite easy to work out. If you have any questions about anything like that, just email me. I'm happy to answer questions. It has beads as well, which are also available from my online shop. And I'm actually teaching this workshop, this pattern as a workshop this year at Spinner Yarn in Bobby Trace in Devon. Let me just grab my notebook because I wrote it down in here. I'm teaching it on the 4th of July this year, so it's a few months away yet, but 4th of July I'm teaching the Sweethearts Lace Scarf Workshop at Spinner Yarn, so you'll learn how to knit the stitch pattern in this scarf and actually cast them for the scarf at your workshop. So you learn how to knit lace, whether you've done a little bit of lace or you're completely new to lace. I'll teach you everything you need to know to knit this scarf, including adding beads. I have done some more lacy items this year. I don't have them all here because some of them I can't find. This was one that I designed a few years ago. This is a small version. There's a larger version in pale pink, which I thought I had here, but it must be downstairs because I can't see it anywhere. My room is still a mess. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that my room being a mess is an ongoing thing. But this is a cow. I designed it a few years ago. It was a bit slouchier and I wanted it non-slouchy. So I went for smaller needle size, and then I also, it comes in 2 sizes. This is a small size, which I had actually planned to give to my mum as like a token Christmas present. But then I didn't have anything to give as a token present for my dad, so I didn't. But it probably will end up going to her at some point. She's also allergic to, or very sensitive to wool, and that one does have wool in it. It's Monol's Uruguay Silk Blend, which is 70% merino, 30% silk, I think. And to me, it doesn't feel itchy at all, but I think to her it probably would feel itchy. So that was the other reason I was a bit reluctant to give it to her. I also did another lace cowl this year called Arctic Lights, which was based on my Arctic Circle cowl that I designed a number of years ago in lace weight yarn. I redesigned it in DK in a bright pink. I did it quite recently. I got the yarn in London when I went in October, and it just takes 1 skein of DK yarn plus beads, and it's available from my Payhip and Ravelry pattern shops. All my patterns are available from Payhip and Ravelry. Last year was the year of the cow for me. I designed quite a few cows, especially, I should say last winter was the winter of the cow for me. I designed a number of cows last winter. Most of them brioche, but also some colour work. Most of them are actually designed and knitted before the end of 2022, so the beginning of last winter. So they're not included in this video. But one of the ones I designed was a cow called Delicia, which I designed and knitted for a friend for Christmas. And I re-knitted it in another yarn. I'm just trying to work which way up this is. That's the right way up. I re-knitted it in the Yachtigan merino cotton to have as a sample on my stall when I do shows, because it's quite an affordable yarn. And that's this one. So I designed the original and knitted end of 2022 in December, and then I did this in the summer. Yeah, I think it was in the summer because I think I had it ready for Yarndale in September. So that was oh, I did another brioche cowl this year, beginning of the year. Well, it was actually the end of 2022, but I didn't, was it beginning of 20? It was kind of like Christmas, New Year. So I probably finished it in the early part of 2023. But I didn't share it because it was for my mum. It was my Trenor brioche Mobius, which I redesigned or reknitted in a DK yarn and made it smaller to fit my mum. If I can find a picture of it and me wearing it, I'll pop it up. Again, I knitted it in the silk Monol's Uruguay Silk Blend, and I'm not sure whether my mum's worn it because I think it might be a little bit too itchy for her, which is why I'm not very keen to give her this. Itchiness is a problem she has with anything to do with wool. I also, at this last Christmas, while we're in Norway, I knitted another cowl called Twist. Well, I think it's going to be called Twist. I designed, I think it was in 2022, I designed some twist hand warmers for my online workshops for my Brioche Improvers workshop, and I re-knitted them in this is the new Nipro Symphony Viva, I think it's called. Yeah, Viva, pure merino wool, superwash merino, hand-dyed yarn. So I knitted the hand warmers, which I designed, I think, in 2022. And then I also designed a cowl to go with it, and knitted that while we're in Norway in December. The hand warmers are only available as part of my Successful Brioche Knitting online course and my Brioche Improvers workshops, in-person workshops. This cowl has not been written up yet, but it is on my list of priorities in the next couple of weeks. And I don't know whether I'm going to release that separately or make it available through the online course and my in-person brioche cowls workshop. I haven't decided yet, but we'll decide that when I get the pattern written up and edited. So those are the brioche cowls I knitted this year. I also did do colourwork cowls. So I've done a lot of cowls. I started the year off knitting this colourwork cowl. I bought this yarn from Belinda Harris Reeds, who runs the Knitting Hotel, at the beginning of last year, and then just before I went to Norway at the end of January, and then I cast on for this cowl when I went to Norway, and I knitted it just in a few days while we're in Norway. I think it took about 60-65 grams of each colour, maybe 60 grams of each colour. So I actually re-knitted it in the summer in time for Yarndale, and I cut out a couple of rows. I made the rib slightly shorter, and I cut out a couple of rows of the colour work so that I could use 50 grams of each colour. And it's just a tiny bit shorter, like that. So it's, when you're wearing it, you barely notice it's any shorter, but it's a little bit shorter. So this was knitted in Yarnaddict merino cotton again, and that's the display sample I use for my shows when I do shows. So those were the two colourwork cowls I knitted this year. I have plans for another one, but I'll talk more about that another time. Talking about headgear, things I knitted for head things. I started off the year knitting this, hang on, where is it? This brioche headband, which I'm not going to put on because I always struggle to put it on correctly. But this brioche headband for my basic brioche workshops, because it teaches you all the basic brioche skills so you need to know. It's syncopated brioche. This is only available as part of my brioche basics in-person workshops and my Successful Brioche Knitting online course. It's not available as a separate pattern yet. I also knitted a cowl to match that at the end of 2022, which I wear a lot. I also knitted some other hand warmers this year. I re-knitted some old designs. This is my Starlight pattern, and I re-knitted this in Monza, Uruguay, Allegria. I'm not sure if it's Allegria. If you know how to pronounce it, do tell me. It's got beads on it. I knitted this one in my size in the full pair, and then I did a single one in the small size, and then I also got a pattern called Passion Flower, which is another beaded hand warmers, and I knitted, I think this yarn was a bad choice, but it's same yarn as the other one, Allegria from Monza, Uruguay, but it's a variegated color and it's too variegated for the lace pattern. But I wanted to do it like that to show what it looked like, so you can't really see the lace pattern, but I really like this colorway, so I thought I'd probably still wear it. And it actually looks better in person than on camera. But I knitted this pink pair, and then I did a small size in this one, and then I did this one in the large size for me, and then I did one of the small sizes. Actually, I did like 6 individual ones, so it makes it 3 pairs in total. I haven't worn these yet. I must put them downstairs so I can wear them. But I knitted those for a workshop at the Knitting Hotel this autumn. I also knitted 3 hats this year, which is more than I've knitted for a long time, I think. Did a DK hat for me, which I knitted when I went to Norway at the end of January. I knitted it. My goal was to knit it while I travelled to Norway. And if I hadn't made a mistake and not measured properly because I knitted them top down, I basically realised once I got to start a rib that I had made it too big, so I had to go back and increase fewer stitches. Otherwise I would have finished it in the day I was traveling to Norway, but I finished it the day I day after I arrived in Norway. I'll link to that video below if you're interested. It was kind of like a travel day vlog, and my challenge was to finish that hat. So I did that hat, and then when I came back from Norway, I did a pink 4-ply hat for myself, which if you saw any of my videos from Norway, you probably would have seen me wear. And then before we went to Norway in December, I finished it while we were driving to the airport to go to Norway in December. I knitted a hat for Simon. It's basically based on the Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague, except I didn't buy the pattern. I looked at it and then I thought, actually, I can probably work that out without buying the pattern, which I know is a bad thing to say, but I'd probably buy the pattern and read it and think, no, I'll just do my own thing. So it felt like pointless to buy the pattern, to be quite honest. So I'm not going to write that up as a pattern because Isolde Teague has a very popular version called Musselburgh, and loads of other people have versions of it, I think, as well. But it's basically like a double layer hat. So you start at the crown, you knit a long tube, and then you decrease at the crown and you turn the half the hat inside the other half. Simon loved it. It's his favorite hat that I've knitted him, and he wore it every day in Norway. So that was a big success. I'll try and put a picture of it on screen. But one of the most successful things I knitted this year, I think, was my clutches. So I started off by knitting another clutch, which I don't know what I've done with it, by another designer. But then I went on to get inspired and I designed 3 clutches myself. So I started off with this one, the Glamour clutch. This was the original version. It has 2 color beads. I changed it a little bit for the final version because this one I ended up with beads on the frame, which I didn't like. So I actually changed it and added a few rows so that I didn't have beads on the frame. So that was the second version. Then I've done a purple version as well with the pink beads, I think, which is downstairs, is in use at the moment. It's lined with felt. The pattern is available from my Ravelry and Payhip shop. I taught it a couple of times last year. It was very popular. Quick and easy to knit. Well, relatively quick and easy to knit. I sell the frame in on my website. I think I've still got one left. I think I can see one in my drawer down here. I am ordering some more. I was going to do it in November and then I didn't get around to it. So I'm ordering some more, and I'm also going to order some more of the yarn, and I've also got some of the felt so I can offer some kits, and that is on my list to do when I'm back at work properly next week, because this week I'm officially on holiday. I also knitted, around the time when I knitted the first Glamour clutch, I also knitted a colourwork clutch, which is this one, and this one is beadless, and lined it with felt, and then I decided to do it again in a different colour. So I did this one and I added beads to this one. Can you see that? Beads there and the beads there. It's lined with the same colour. This one I've used a lot. I used that as one of my project bags when I was in Norway to hold this set that I was knitting in Norway. It's a little bit smaller than the colour clutch, so the Glamour clutch. The Glamour clutch and the color clutch, so it's a little bit, this is shorter, few rows, but I've used this a lot. This is the one I've been using mostly, so it stays downstairs in my knitting basket so I can grab it when I need a project bag. So those are my Glamour and color clutches. There may be some more clutches this year, we'll see. I have some ideas, but I haven't decided yet. So I did a set of Christmas decorations this year, which I'm not going to show you because I can't bother to dig them out. But I designed those specifically for some festive workshops I was teaching at the Knitting Hotel in December. And I count that as one project, but there were quite a few different tiny projects, but like most of them took less than half an hour to knit. So I'm counting that as one project. And then it is my blanket. Let me just grab it because I put it away the other day. It's been living on my desk for ages and I actually put it away. It's my poinsettia blanket. So this is my Botanical Yarns 2022 advent calendar, yarn advent. It's 24 mini skeins, 4-ply sock yarn, 20 gram mini skeins, 24 of them. I knitted this in the summer and I really liked it, but I thought it might be popular to knit it up in a DK version. So with my 2023 Yarn Unique Neon DK Advent, I knitted it up again. So the pattern is written for sock yarn, 4-ply yarn, 20-gram mini skeins, but I adapted it to fit DK and I included those notes in the pattern. Ended up slightly smaller because there's less yardage. I probably should have used a slightly bigger needle size. I can't remember what I used, but it was 4.5 or 5mm now. But when I tried that, and then I ran out of yarn quicker, so I kind of tried to do the best I could with the yarn I had. I talked more about this in last week's podcast, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that now. But it's very colourful. Do I love all the colours? No. Do I think this would look better in a more solid yarn? Yes. But I'm glad I knitted it, and I did finish it in December, which was great. So those were all my projects this year. They were self-published or personal projects, and that was 36 projects altogether. So I counted my Christmas decorations as one. I think there may be one more that I've forgotten, because the lace hand warmers I did 2 pairs and then one of each of the pairs. So that would count as another pair. So I'd probably get to, if I counted those, it'd be 37, but I didn't count those. Some of the stuff I designed for magazines I will not show you because, oh, there's one thing I've forgotten. Don't know how I could forget that because he was sitting right there staring at me. That is my Diamonds Are Forever cushion, but I designed this year. I actually need to get another cushion inside because the cushion inside is a little bit small and a little bit not great. So I need to get another cushion inside for it. But this is the Diamonds Are Forever cushion. Pattern is available from Ravelry and Payhip. I am teaching it as a workshop at Spinny Yarn in Bobby Tracy in Devon on the 8th of February, so not that far. 8th of February, I'll link Spinny Yarn below. So if you want to learn how to knit this cushion, how to knit stranded colour work or Fair Isle in the round, holding one colour in each hand or both colours in one hand, this workshop will be perfect for you if you want to just improve your colour work technique and get more practice with a bit of supervision. You actually get to start this in the workshop. So I'm excited about that, but I've got some ideas for another cushion, so I might design that this year. So those were all the ones I designed for self-published patterns this year. For magazines, I'm going to only talk about the ones that were published this year, because the ones that I've knitted this year, quite a few of those haven't been published yet. So, and I'm not going to show you all of those because I'm aware this video is going a bit long. I will try and add photos of some of them to the screen as I talk about them. So what I did this year was that when patterns were published, I tried to take a picture of it and add it to a separate folder on my phone so I would remember, because otherwise I get it in the year and I don't remember. And I don't list all of them on Ravelry anymore because I don't get around to it. And some of the magazines list them on Ravelry, some don't. So I can't even go back to Ravelry and double check like I used to be able to. But I have designed one pattern for Simply Knitting, 2 for the Knitter, 9 for Knitting Magazine, 3 for Let's Knit. Let's Knit stopped being went out of business this year. I think they still have their Let's Knit Together website, but the magazine stopped publishing this year, which was very sad because I've designed for them since I started designing. I think I had my first pattern published for them in like 2007, so I'm quite sad that they're gone. The editors moved on to another magazine, so I'm hoping to be able to work with her more, because I was quite sad they went. But I did 3 for Let's Knit before they closed. I've done 1 for Sheepies. Sheepies is how most people pronounce it, I think, but it's pronounced something more like Sheepies. Well, I don't think that's 100% correct as well. But for their yarn magazine, I designed a shawl. I had 2 versions knitted up. I did one, and one of my neighbours actually did the other one, using one of their long colour changing yarns. And then I did 4 for Rooster for Monostel Uruguay. They were actually knitted about a year before they were published. They're like a soft release for those patterns at YarnAddict in September 2022, but they released them properly online in spring of 2023 because they were more spring-like designs. So there was short sleeve t-shirt, a sleeveless top, and 2 shawls. And they were designed for Rooster, which is the UK distributor for Models of Uruguay. 3 of them used Models of Uruguay Fino, and 1 used Marina, which is a lace weight yarn. So I had 20 patterns published in total this year in magazines and by yarn companies, 4 by yarn company and 16 in magazines. There is a chance I may have forgotten something. I've tried each month to add pictures of those designs to a separate folder on my phone to remind me, but there is a chance I may have forgotten something. I don't think I had as many front covers this year as I've had previous years. I know I definitely had 2 for Knitting Magazine, but I can't remember because I haven't kept photos of them. If I don't keep pictures of them, I just forget. So let's talk about my goals for 2024. I don't have a lot of goals. A lot of my work, as I said, is designing for magazines, and obviously that's something that's beyond my control. I can say I'd like to have 10 patterns published this year, or 20 or 50 or whatever, but if the editors don't commission me, then I'm not going to have any published. So I do have some lined up though, so I will have some published this year, but obviously every time I submit to a magazine, it's up to the editor whether they want to commission my designs or not. So that's something that's really beyond my control. So I don't set any goals in terms of what's being published by other people, but I want to continue submitting to magazines. In fact, I'm working on 2 design submissions at the moment for 2 separate magazines. One's for 2 issues, the other one I think might be for 3 issues. So I'm working on that at the moment. One of them is due before this video is out, one is due afterwards. So I'm working on that at the moment. In terms of self-published, I do have a few things I want to publish this year. Stuff to do with workshops and things. I've got a pattern, I need to design a pattern for a workshop in March. I also need to design a few other things I want to design in terms of think about what I can use for workshops. I'm trying to do more project-based workshops because there's a lot of people now doing technique-based workshops. When I first started teaching, there wasn't a lot of teachers around. There are more teachers now. So there's a lot more competitions. I want to do more project-based workshops, which also teaches a technique. So just because I think that makes it easier, and it also means that those people who've done a workshop, say you've done a brioche workshop with me or with somebody else, but you wouldn't do a brioche workshop again, but you might be interested in doing a brioche project workshop to practice your skills and get better at it. So that's my thinking in terms of that. So that's one of the things I want to focus on this year, which I also focused a bit on last year. I want to design some more brioche. I want to design some more lace, some more color work. I'm trying to not just stick to lace. There was a long period where I mostly designed lace. I'm trying to be do a bit more color work, a bit more brioche, rather than just lace, because I felt I got into a bit of a rut just doing lace. So I want to do a bit more other things this year as well. My goal last year was to knit 4 garments for myself. That's my goal this year as well. I have 2 on the needles at the moment, so I'm doing well. So I'd like to finish 1 by the end of January and 1 by the end of February. Obviously that depends on what magazine design commissions I get, because if I get a lot of magazine design commissions, then my personal knitting has to be put on hold, and depends on when those deadlines would be. And if a yarn company suddenly contacts me and say, can you do something, then obviously other things need to be put on hold, because stuff for yarn companies and magazines that I'm paid for upfront takes priority over self-published projects. I have 2 advent calendars that I haven't knitted up yet. One from Orchidean Luxury Yarns from 2022. I definitely want to knit that one up. I have an idea for what I want to do with it. Then I have my Truly Hooked advent calendar from 2023 that I also want to knit up. So those are things that I want to get done in the first, say, 6 months of this year. Definitely. Beyond that, I haven't got a huge amount of plans, mainly because things are uncertain in terms of what magazine designs and yarn company designs I may or may not be commissioned to do. So I don't like to say I'm going to self-publish X number of patterns or so many garments, so many lace shawls, so many whatever. I haven't done a lace shawl, I feel, for a while, so I do want to do some lace shawls this year. some more smaller accessories, some more clutch bags maybe. I don't know. I haven't got any, apart from 4 garments myself, 2 of which are underway. I don't want, I mean, last year I finished the first garment at like May, maybe. I don't think I finished that rose blush pink sweater, the knitting folded one, maybe April. I think it might be May by the time I finished it. So I'd like to definitely finish one sweater, preferably this month, and one next month or in March, so that I'm more on track. Because if I'm going to do 4 garments this year, I really need to try and do 1 per quarter. If I can get a head start on that, that'd be great. And there will be more socks as well, because I'm always knitting socks. In fact, my next pair of socks will be this one for my husband. Okay, so those are kind of a bit of a review of 2023 and my plans for 2024. Below some videos here on YouTube, obviously. If there are anything specific you'd like to see from me this year in terms of YouTube videos, tutorials, vlogs, anything you'd like me to talk about, controversial topics, anything you'd like my opinion about, any specific vlogs you'd like, tutorials, rather than just saying yes tutorials, tell me what you'd like to see, and I will definitely add that to my list. I got some a yarn review and Lantern Moon needle review coming up fairly soon as well. My plan for this year is to try and stick with posting videos Tuesdays and Thursdays, podcast on a Thursday and another video on a Tuesday. That's my goal. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I thank you for your support in 2023, whether you've been following me for the whole year, whether you just found me at the end of the year, or you've just found me now. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would subscribe and like this video and comment. Likes, comments, and subscribing doesn't cost you anything, but it means a lot to me, and it does help YouTube show my video to other people. And let me know in the comments what your plans are for 2024 in terms of knitting and crochet, and what your favorite knitting or crochet project or favorite craft project was in 2023. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.